She wiped the same table for the third time. Her hands were shaking. The diner was almost empty. Just her, the cook in the back, and one customer in the corner booth. A man in an expensive black suit. He came here every Thursday night. Always sat in the same spot. Always ordered coffee. Black. Nothing else. She didn't know his name. Didn't want to know. Men like him. The ones with cold eyes and colder smiles. They were dangerous. Her phone buzzed in her apron pocket. She pulled it out. Read the message. Where are you? You were supposed to be home an hour ago. Her stomach twisted into knots. Another message came through before she could reply. You're making me wait again. You know I don't like waiting. She typed quickly, fingers fumbling over the keys. My shift ends at midnight. I'll be home soon. I promise. She hit send, held her breath, waited. The 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. You better be. She shoved the phone back into her pocket, tried to steady her breathing, tried to ignore the fear crawling up her spine. You okay? She jumped, spun around. It was him, the man in the black suit. He was standing right behind her. How long had he been there? How much had he seen? I'm fine, she said quickly. Too quickly. Can I get you anything else? He studied her face. His eyes were dark, unreadable, like deep water. You don't look fine. I said I'm fine. Her voice came out sharper than she intended. She softened it, forced a smile. Sorry. Long day. Do you need a refill? He didn't answer right away, just kept looking at her, like he could see through the smile, through the lie, through everything. No, he said finally. I'm good. He walked back to his booth, sat down, picked up his coffee cup. She let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. She was late. 7 minutes late. She fumbled with her keys at the apartment door. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. The keys slipped, fell to the ground with a loud jangle. No, no, no. She bent down, grabbed them, tried again. The door swung open before she could turn the key. He stood there, tall, broad shoulders, arms crossed. His jaw was tight. That vein in his forehead, the one that only showed up when he was really angry, was pulsing. You're late. I know. I'm sorry. My manager made me. I don't care what your manager made you do. He stepped closer. She stepped back. Her spine hit the doorframe. When I tell you to be home by midnight, I mean midnight. Not 12:07. Not 12:05. Midnight. It won't happen again. You're right. It won't. He grabbed her arm, pulled her inside, slammed the door behind them. She knew what was coming. She always knew. Please. I'm tired. Can we just what? He squeezed her arm tighter. She could feel his fingers digging into her skin. There would be bruises tomorrow. There were always bruises. You think you can walk in here late and just go to bed? Like nothing happened. I said I was sorry. Sorry doesn't cut it anymore. His other hand came up. She flinched, closed her eyes, waited for the impact, but it didn't come. Instead, he let go of her arm, shoved her toward the bedroom. Get out of my sight. I can't even look at you right now. She didn't argue, didn't say another word, just walked to the bedroom, closed the door, locked it. She slid down to the floor, pulled her knees to her chest, and for the first time in months, she let herself cry. But only for a minute. Only 1 minute. Because crying meant weakness. And weakness meant more anger. More bruises. More nights like this. So she wiped her tears, got up, changed into her pajamas, and told herself the same lie she told herself every night. Tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow he'll be different. Tomorrow that he was back. Same booth. Same black suit. Same coffee. She approached his table carefully, set down a fresh pot. Refill. He nodded, pushed his cup forward. She poured. Her hand was steadier tonight. The bruises on her arm were hidden under her long sleeves. She'd gotten good at hiding things. You work here every night? He asked suddenly. She paused. Most nights. Why? Just wondering. She set the pot down on his table. Is there something wrong with the coffee?
No.
Coffee's fine. Then why do you keep coming back? There are better diners in this city. Places with actual food on the menu. A small smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. It didn't reach his eyes. Maybe I like the service. She didn't know how to respond to that. So she didn't. Just picked up the coffee pot and turned to leave. Wait. She stopped. Turned back. He was reaching into his jacket pocket. Her heart jumped. Was he reaching for a gun? A knife? Should she run? But he pulled out a business card instead. Slid it across the table toward her. If you ever need anything, call that number. She stared at the card. It was plain. Black. Just a phone number printed in silver ink. No name. No company. Nothing else. Why would I need to call you? He leaned back in his booth. Took a sip of his coffee. You'd be surprised how often people need help. And don't know where to get it. She picked up the card. Turn it over. The back was blank too. Who are you? Someone who pays attention. That sent a chill down her spine. Not a bad chill. A different kind. The kind that made her feel seen. Really seen. For the first time in a long time. She slipped the card into her apron pocket. Thanks. I think. Don't think. Just keep it. She nodded. Walked away. And tried to ignore the way her heart was beating just a little bit faster. That it happened at the grocery store. She was picking up milk.
Bread.
The basics. She had $20 in her wallet. That was it. That was all he'd given her for the week. She was doing the math in her head. Milk, $4.50. Bread, $3. Eggs, $5. That left her with $7.50. Maybe she could get some pasta.
Something cheap that would last.
She turned down the aisle and froze. He was there. Her boyfriend. With someone else. A woman. Young.
Pretty.
Wearing a tight red dress and too much perfume. He had his arm around her waist. Was whispering something in her ear. She was laughing. Touching his chest. Looking up at him the way she used to look at him. Back when things were good. Back before the yelling. Before the bruises. Before everything fell apart. She couldn't move. Couldn't breathe.
Couldn't think.
And then he saw her. Their eyes met across the aisle. For a second, just 1 second, something flickered in his face.
Guilt?
Shame? Fear? But then it was gone. Replaced by anger. He said something to the woman. Let go of her waist. Started walking toward her. She didn't wait to hear what he had to say. Didn't wait to hear the excuses or the lies or the threats. She dropped the basket.
Turned. Ran.
Out of the store. Down the street. Past the bus stop. Past the old church. Past everything. She didn't know where she was going. Didn't care. Just knew she couldn't go back. Not tonight. Maybe not ever. Her lungs were burning. Her legs were screaming. But she kept running. Until she couldn't run anymore. She collapsed against a brick wall in an alley.
Slid down to the ground.
Gasped for air. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She pulled it out. 23 missed calls. 15 text messages. All from him. She scrolled through them with shaking hands. Where did you go? Get back here.
Now.
You're making a scene? I can explain. You're overreacting. If you don't come home right now, you'll regret it. I'm serious. You have 10 minutes. 5 minutes. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. Her finger hovered over the delete button. But she couldn't press it. Couldn't move.
Couldn't think.
And then she remembered. The card. She dug through her pockets. Found it. Still there. Wrinkled but readable. She stared at the number for a long time. This was crazy. She didn't even know this man. Didn't know what he did. Didn't know if he could help or if he'd make everything worse. But what choice did she have? She dialed the number. It rang once.
Twice. 3 times.
Hello. His voice.
Deep. Calm.
Like he'd been expecting her call. It's me. From the diner. You said to call if I. Her voice cracked. I need help. Silence on the other end. Then, where are you? A black car pulled up to the alley. Expensive. The kind you see in movies. The back door opened. Get in.
She didn't hesitate.
Climbed into the back seat. He was sitting next to her. Same black suit. But his face was different tonight. Harder. More focused. Drive, he said to someone in the front seat. She couldn't see who it was. Didn't care. The car pulled away from the curb.
Smooth. Silent.
She pressed herself against the door. Tried to make herself smaller. Tried to disappear. You're safe now, he said quietly. How do you know? Her voice was barely a whisper. You don't even know what happened. I know enough. She turned to look at him. Really look at him. Who are you? He didn't answer right away. Just stared out the window. Watching the city lights blur past. Someone who doesn't like seeing people get hurt. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting tonight. The car turned down a side street. Then another. She'd lost track of where they were going. Where are you taking me? Somewhere he can't find you. Her heart jumped. How do you know about? I told you. I pay attention. He finally turned to face her. His eyes were softer now. Less cold. You think I didn't notice the bruises? The way you jump every time your phone buzzes? The way you look over your shoulder when you leave work? She felt her cheeks burn. I'm fine. I can handle.
No.
You can't. And you shouldn't have to. Tears started falling before she could stop them. She wiped them away quickly. Angrily. I don't need your pity. Good. Because I'm not offering pity. I'm offering help.
Why?
You don't even know me. He leaned back in his seat. Let's just say I know what it's like to feel trapped. To feel like there's no way out. He paused. I'm giving you a way out. The apartment was nice. Too nice. Modern furniture. Clean floors. Big windows overlooking the city. This is where you live? She asked, walking slowly into the living room.
No.
This is where you live. For now.
She spun around.
What? You can't go back to your place. He knows where you live. Works.
Shops.
Everything. So you're staying here until we figure out what to do next. I can't just.
Yes.
You can. His voice was firm. Not angry. Just certain. Like this wasn't up for debate. There's food in the fridge. Clothes in the bedroom. Should be your size. Door locks from the inside. No one can get in unless you let them. She looked around again. This felt like a dream. Or a trap. She couldn't tell which. How long have you been planning this? Does it matter?
Yes.
It matters. Because I need to know if you're some kind of creep who. I'm not. He walked to the door. Pulled out a set of keys. Set them on the counter. Those are yours. Come and go as you please. But if you're smart, you'll stay put for a few days. Let things cool down. And then what? Then we figure out how to make sure he never bothers you again. The way he said it sent a shiver down her spine. Not fear. Something else. Something darker. What are you going to do to him? Nothing he doesn't deserve. That's not an answer. He smiled. Actually smiled. It changed his whole face. Made him look younger. Less dangerous. Almost kind. You ask a lot of questions. You don't give a lot of answers. Fair point. He opened the door. Started to leave. Then stopped. Turned back. Get some rest. We'll talk in the morning.
Wait.
I don't even know your name. He paused in the doorway. Does it matter?
Yes.
It matters. Another smile. Smaller this time. Marco. And then he was gone. She stood in the middle of the fancy apartment. Alone. Safe. For the first time in 2 years. And she had no idea what came next. She woke up to the smell of coffee. For a second, she forgot where she was. Sat up fast. Heart pounding. Then she remembered. The apartment. Marco. The escape. She climbed out of bed. The clothes he'd left for her fit perfectly. Black jeans. Gray sweater. How did he know her size? She walked into the kitchen. Marco was sitting at the counter. 2 cups of coffee in front of him. He looked different in the daylight. Less intimidating. More human. Morning, he said without looking up from his phone. Morning. She sat down carefully, picked up one of the coffee cups. How long have you been here? About an hour. Wanted to make sure you didn't try to leave. Would you have stopped me?
No.
But I would have followed you. Made sure you stayed safe. She sipped her coffee. It was good.
Strong.
The way she liked it. You know a lot about me for someone I just met. I told you. I pay attention. That's creepy. That's protective. She wanted to argue, but couldn't, because part of her, a big part, was grateful. For the coffee. For the apartment. For him. What happens now? She asked. He set down his phone. Looked at her directly. I need to know everything about him. Full name. Where he works. Who his friends are. Everywhere he goes. Why? Because I'm going to make sure he never comes near you again.
How?
The less you know, the better. She set down her cup. I'm not an idiot. I know what you are. His eyebrow raised. And what am I? You're mafia. Or something like it. I've seen enough movies. Read enough books. Men who dress like you, talk like you, have apartments like this, they're not accountants. He didn't deny it. Didn't confirm it either. Just watched her. Does that scare you? He asked finally. She thought about it.
Really thought about it.
No, she said honestly. It should. But it doesn't. Why not? Because you're the first person in 2 years who's treated me like I matter. Like, I'm worth saving. Her voice cracked on the last word. So no. You don't scare me. Something shifted in his expression.
Softened.
Good, he said quietly. Because I'm going to need your help. They sat at the counter for 3 hours. Going over everything. His name.
His job.
His routine. His friends. His favorite bar. His gym. His parents' house. Everything. Marco didn't write anything down. Just listened. Nodded. Asked questions. He's violent? Marco asked. Sometimes. When he's angry. How often is he angry? More than he's not. Marco's jaw tightened. Has he ever put you in the hospital?
No.
He's careful. Knows where to hit, so it doesn't show. Smart man. The way he said it didn't sound like a compliment. Sounded like a threat. What are you going to do? First, I'm going to have someone watch him. Make sure he's not trying to find you. Then, he paused. Then, I'm going to have a conversation with him. What kind of conversation? The kind that ends with him understanding he made a mistake. And that mistakes have consequences. She felt something twist in her chest. Not fear. Not quite. You're going to hurt him. I'm going to make sure he never hurts you again. There's a difference. Is there? Yes. She wanted to argue. Wanted to tell him this was wrong. That violence wasn't the answer. That there had to be another way. But she didn't. Because deep down, she knew there wasn't another way. You can't reason with men like him. You can't ask nicely. You can't file a restraining order and hope it works. Sometimes, the only language bullies understand is pain. When? She asked quietly. Tomorrow night. After he gets off work. Where? That parking garage where he parks his car. Level 3. Northeast corner. There are no cameras there. I checked. Of course he checked. I want to be there, she said suddenly. No.
Yes.
I need to see this. Need to know it's real. That it's over. Marco shook his head. It's not safe. And you don't want to see. I've seen worse. Trust me. Their eyes met. Held. Neither one backing down. Finally, Marco sighed.
Fine.
But you stay in the car. No matter what happens. You stay in the car. Understand? She nodded. Say it. I'll stay in the car. Good. The parking garage was empty. Cold. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead. She sat in the back seat of Marco's car. Watching. Waiting. Her heart was pounding so hard, she thought it might break through her chest. There. Marco said from the front seat. That's him. She leaned forward.
Looked. Yes.
That was him. Walking across the parking garage. Keys in hand. Whistling. Like he didn't have a care in the world. Like he hadn't destroyed hers. Stay here, Marco said. opening his door. I know. He got out, closed the door quietly, started walking. She watched through the window, breath held, hands clenched. Her boyfriend didn't see Marco until he was 10 feet away. Then he stopped,
Frowned.
Can I help you? He called out. Marco didn't answer, just kept walking. Hey man, I'm talking to you. Marco's fist connected with his jaw before he could finish the sentence. Her boyfriend went down hard, hit the concrete with a sickening thud. Marco stood over him,
Calm.
controlled, like he'd done this 1,000 times before. Get up. Her boyfriend groaned, touched his jaw, looked up at Marco with fury in his eyes. Who the hell are you? Someone you should have been nicer to. Understanding flickered across his face. This is about her?
You've got to be kidding me.
That crazy. Marco kicked him in the ribs. Not hard enough to break anything, but hard enough to make a point. Watch your mouth. Her boyfriend curled into a ball.
Coughed.
Gasped for air. Marco crouched down next to him. Spoke quietly. She couldn't hear what he was saying from the car, but she could see her boyfriend's face. The fear. The realization. The understanding that he was out of his league. Marco stood up, pulled something from his jacket, dropped it on the ground next to him. Then he turned and walked back to the car.
He got in,
Started the engine, pulled out of the parking garage, all without saying a word. She looked back through the rear window. Her boyfriend was still on the ground, holding whatever Marco had dropped, staring after them. What did you give him? She asked. A phone number.
for a therapist.
And a warning. What kind of warning? The kind that makes sure he never looks for you again. Never says your name again. Never even thinks about you again. Marco glanced at her in the rear-view mirror. It's over. You're free. And for the first time in 2 years, she believed it. She was cooking. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. For the first time in a long time. Marco had let her stay in the apartment. Rent-free. No strings attached. Until you figure things out, he'd said. But the weird part was he kept coming back. Not every day, but most days. He'd show up around dinner time. Sometimes with groceries. Sometimes with takeout. Sometimes with nothing but questions about her day. It was strange. Comfortable.
Terrifying.
Tonight, she'd made pasta. Nothing fancy. Just noodles and sauce and garlic bread. But it smelled good. Felt good. Like maybe she was getting pieces of herself back. The door opened. Marco walked in. Same black suit.
Different tie.
You're cooking, he said, surprised. Don't sound so shocked. I'm not completely useless. I never said you were useless. You didn't have to. He walked into the kitchen. Looked at the stove. Smells good. It's just pasta. Just pasta is still better than takeout. She smiled despite herself. Are you staying for dinner? If you're offering. I'm offering. They ate at the counter. In comfortable silence. The kind of silence that didn't need to be filled. Can I ask you something? She said finally. Depends on the question. Why did you help me? Really? Marco set down his fork. Leaned back. I told you.
No.
You gave me some vague answer about paying attention and not liking when people get hurt. But that's not the whole truth. Is it?
He was quiet for a long time.
Long enough that she thought he wasn't going to answer. Then, I had a sister. Long time ago. She got involved with the wrong guy. Guy who hurt her. I was young. Stupid. Didn't know how to help. Didn't know what to do. He paused. By the time I figured it out, it was too late. Her chest tightened. What happened to her? She's gone. His voice was flat. Empty. And I swore I'd never let that happen to someone else. Not if I could stop it. She reached across the counter. Put her hand on top of his. I'm sorry. Don't be. Just promise me something. What? Don't go back to him. No matter what he says. No matter what he promises. Men like that don't change. I know. Say it anyway. I promise I won't go back. He nodded. Pulled his hand away.
But gently.
Like he didn't really want to.
Good.
Things had fallen into a rhythm. She got a new job. Better hours. Better pay. Better boss.
Marco had helped with that.
Made a phone call. Pulled a string. She didn't ask questions. She saw him almost every day now. Sometimes for dinner. Sometimes just to talk. Sometimes for nothing at all. Just to be in the same room. It felt nice. Normal. Like maybe she could have this. This life. This peace. This safety. And then her phone rang. Unknown number. She almost didn't answer. But something made her pick up. Hello. Silence. Then breathing. Heavy. Angry. Her blood turned to ice. I know where you are. His voice. She'd know it anywhere. You need to stop calling me. Stop calling you? You're the one who destroyed my life. Got your thug boyfriend to break my ribs. Made me look like a fool. I didn't. I lost my job. My apartment. Everything. Because of you. That's not my fault. Isn't it? His voice dropped lower. Darker. You think you can just run away? Start over? Pretend I don't exist. Leave me alone. Or what? You'll sick your boyfriend on me again.
He laughed. Cold. Mean. He's not with you right now, is he?
Saw him leave 20 minutes ago. Nice car. Expensive. Must be nice being someone's little pet. Her hands started shaking. How do you? I told you. I know where you are. And I'm coming for you. Tonight. You and me are going to finish this conversation. Face to face. The line went dead. She dropped the phone. Ran to the door. Checked the locks. All secure. But it didn't matter. Locks wouldn't stop him. Nothing would stop him. She grabbed her phone. Dialed Marco. 1 ring. 2 rings. 3 rings. Pick up, pick up, pick up. Hello.
He knows where I am.
He's coming here. He said. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone. I'm 10 minutes away.
He said tonight.
He said I'm on my way.
Stay calm.
Stay inside. The call ended. She paced the apartment. Checked the locks again. Looked out the window. Nothing. Just the street. Just the lights. Just the city going about its business. But she could feel it. That familiar fear. That old terror. Crawling back up her spine. Wrapping around her throat. What if Marco didn't get here in time? What if he got in? What if? A knock at the door. She froze. I know you're in there. His voice. Muffled through the door. But definitely him. Open up. Let's talk like adults. Another knock. Harder this time. I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to talk. That's all. She backed away from the door. Grabbed a knife from the kitchen. Held it with shaking hands. I'll break this door down if I have to. Don't make me do that. The doorknob rattled.
Once. Twice.
Then everything went quiet.
Too quiet.
She held her breath. Waited. Listened. A crash. The window. He was coming through the window. She screamed. Glass shattered across the living room floor. He climbed through the window, bleeding from his hand where the glass had cut him. But he didn't seem to care. You thought you could hide from me? He stepped over the broken glass. Eyes wild. Crazy. You thought you could just throw me away like garbage? Stay back. She held up the knife. I mean it. He laughed. Actually laughed. You're not going to stab me. Don't come any closer. Or what? He lunged forward.
Fast.
Too fast. She swung the knife.
Missed.
He grabbed her wrist. Twisted. She cried out. Dropped the knife. He shoved her against the wall. Pinned her there with his body. His breath was hot against her face. Smelled like alcohol and rage. Did you really think you could leave me? Did you really think? The front door exploded inward. Marco. He crossed the room in 3 steps. Grabbed her boyfriend by the back of his neck. Yanked him off her. Her boyfriend spun around. Swung a fist. Marco ducked. Punched him in the stomach.
Once. Twice.
3 times. He went down gasping. Marco didn't stop. Pulled him up. Slammed him against the wall. Got in his face. You were warned. I gave you a chance. Gave you a way out. And you came here anyway. She's mine. Marco hit him again.
Harder this time.
She's not yours. She's not anyone's. And you're never going to touch her again. You can't. I can. And I will. Marco's voice dropped to a whisper.
Deadly. Certain.
You have two choices.
Walk out that door right now.
Leave the city. Never come back. Never call. Never text. Never think about her again. Or, he leaned closer. Or, I make sure you never walk anywhere again. Your choice. Silence. Heavy.
Thick.
Her boyfriend looked at Marco. Then at her. Then back at Marco.
Fine. Fine.
I'm leaving. Let go of me. Marco released him.
Stepped back.
But stayed between him and her. Her boyfriend stumbled toward the broken window. Climbed through. Disappeared into the night. Marco stood there. Breathing hard. Fists still clenched. Then he turned to her. Are you okay? She couldn't speak. Could barely breathe. Just nodded. He crossed the room. Pulled her into his arms. Held her. Really held her. And she broke. Sobbed into his chest. Let everything out. All the fear. All the pain. All the years of pretending she was fine when she wasn't. He didn't tell her to stop. Didn't tell her it was okay. Just held her. Let her fall apart. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I should have gotten here sooner. Should have made sure he couldn't. You saved me. Her voice was muffled against his shirt. Again. I'll always save you. For as long as you need me to. And somehow, she believed him. Marco had the window fixed. The locks upgraded. Cameras installed. The apartment was safer than a bank now. But she couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw him. Climbing through the window. Grabbing her. Hurting her. So she stopped trying. Just sat on the couch. Staring at the wall. Waiting for sunrise. Around 3 a.m., someone knocked on the door. She jumped. Heart racing. It's me, Marco's voice called through the door. She let out a breath. Walked over. Unlocked the deadbolt. Opened the door. He stood there in jeans and a t-shirt. No suit. No tie. Just him. Couldn't sleep either, he asked.
No.
Mind if I come in? She stepped aside. He walked in. Looked around. Checked the window. The locks. Everything. You don't have to keep checking, she said.
He's gone.
You made sure of that. I know. But I'd rather be safe than sorry. They sat on the couch. Not touching. But close. Close enough that she could feel his warmth. Can I tell you something? She said quietly. Anything. I don't know how to do this. Do what?
This.
Being alone. Being safe. Not having to look over my shoulder every 5 seconds. She pulled her knees up to her chest. For 2 years, my whole life was about surviving. About making it through one more day. And now I don't know what to do with myself. Marco was quiet for a moment. Then, you learn. You heal. You become whoever you were supposed to be before he took that away from you. What if I don't remember who that person was? Then you figured out. One day at a time. She looked at him. Really looked at him. At the way his jaw was tight. At the way his hands were clenched. At the way he was holding himself together. Can I tell you something? He asked. Anything. I haven't slept either. Haven't slept since that night. Since he broke in. Since I almost didn't get here in time. But you did get here in time.
Barely.
Another minute, and he stopped.
Shook his head.
I can't stop thinking about what could have happened. What I would have done if I'd lost you. Her heart skipped. Lost me? He turned to face her. His eyes were different now. Vulnerable. Open. I know this is complicated. I know I'm not. I know what I am. What I do. The kind of life I live. But somewhere between that first night at the diner and now you became... He paused. Searched for the right words. You became important to me. More important than I expected. More important than I should probably let you be. She couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Marco. You don't have to say anything. I just needed you to know. Needed you to understand why I can't walk away. Why I won't walk away. Even when this is over. Even when you're safe and settled and don't need me anymore, I'll still. She kissed him. Not a gentle kiss. Not a tentative kiss. A real kiss. The kind that said everything words couldn't. He froze for half a second, then kissed her back. His hand came up to cup her face. Gentle.
Careful.
Like she was something precious. When they finally pulled apart, both breathing hard, she rested her forehead against his. I need you too, she whispered. I didn't want to.
Tried not to.
But I do. This is a bad idea, he said softly. I know. My life is dangerous. Complicated. I know. You deserve better than. Stop. She pulled back, looked him in the eyes. Stop telling me what I deserve. Let me decide for myself. And I decide, I want this. Whatever this is. For as long as you'll let me have it. He stared at her. Something raw and real in his expression. Then he kissed her again. Slower this time.
Deeper.
Like he was memorizing every second. And for the first time in years, she felt safe. Really safe. Not because of the locks or the cameras or the apartment. But because of him, life became different. Good different. She got promoted at work. Started taking night classes at the community college. Made friends with her neighbors. Started smiling again. Really smiling. Not the fake kind she used to wear like armor. And Marco was there. Always there. Not in a suffocating way. But in a present way. He'd show up with coffee in the morning. Take her to dinner on Friday nights. Listen to her talk about her day like it was the most interesting thing he'd ever heard. He never talked much about his work.
She didn't ask.
Some things were better left unknown. But she noticed things. The way men in expensive cars would pull up to the apartment sometimes. The way Marco would go downstairs and talk to them for a few minutes before they drove away. The way his phone would ring at odd hours and he'd step into the hallway to answer. She knew what he was. What he did. And she'd made peace with it. Because the man who held her at night, who made her laugh, who looked at her like she was the only thing that mattered in the world, that man was good. In all the ways that counted, he was good. One Sunday morning, she woke up to find him already awake, sitting on the edge of the bed, staring out the window. You okay? She asked, sitting up.
Yeah.
Just thinking. About what? He turned to look at her. About how different everything is. How different you are from when I first met you. Is that a good thing? It's the best thing. He reached over, brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. You're stronger now. Brighter. Like you were hiding behind this wall, and now it's finally coming down. She smiled. That's because of you.
No.
It's because of you. I just gave you the space to become yourself again. She moved closer, rested her head on his shoulder. Can I ask you something? Always. Do you ever think about the future? About what happens next? What do you mean? I mean this apartment. This arrangement.
Us.
Do you think about where it's going? He was quiet for a long moment. Then, every day. And I want you to stay.
For as long as you want to.
But I also want you to have choices. Freedom. The ability to leave if that's what you need. What if I don't want to leave? He looked at her. Really looked at her. Then don't. Even though your life is dangerous? Even though people might come after you? After us? I won't let anything happen to you. I promise. She believed him. God help her, she believed him. Okay, she said quietly. Okay. I'm staying. The smile that spread across his face was worth everything. Every fear. Every doubt. Every risk. She was at the grocery store when she saw him. Not her ex, someone else. Someone from before. From the diner. A regular customer. Middle-aged man. Always ordered the chicken sandwich. He saw her too. Waved. Walked over. Hey, I thought that was you. Haven't seen you at the diner in months. You quit.
Yeah. Got a new job.
Better hours. Good for you. He smiled. Friendly. Normal. You look different. Happier. I am happier. That's great. Really great. You deserve it.
He paused.
How's your boyfriend doing? Her blood went cold. My boyfriend.
Yeah.
The guy who used to pick you up sometimes.
Tall.
Angry looking. Haven't seen him around either. We're not together anymore.
Oh. Sorry. Didn't mean to.
It's fine. It was for the best. Well, good. He always seemed kind of. He trailed off. Never mind. Not my business. Anyway, great seeing you. Take care. He walked away. She stood there in the middle of the grocery store. Frozen. Her ex. She hadn't thought about him in weeks. Hadn't wondered where he was or what he was doing. Had almost convinced herself he was gone for good. But what if he wasn't? What if Marco's warning hadn't been enough? What if he was out there, waiting, planning, watching? She grabbed her phone.
Called Marco.
Hey, I was just thinking about. I need you to check on something. His tone changed immediately. What's wrong? My ex. I need to know where he is. If he's still in the city. If he's not. How do you know? Because I've had someone watching him since that night. Making sure he keeps his distance. Making sure he follows through on his promise. She let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. Where is he? 3 states away. Got a new job. New apartment. New life. He's moved on. Are you sure? I'm sure. I wouldn't let you walk around unprotected if I wasn't. Relief flooded through her. Thank you. Always.
A pause.
You okay?
Yeah.
I just saw someone from the diner. Got spooked. Want me to come meet you?
No.
I'm fine. I'll see you at home. Okay. Be safe. I will. She hung up, finished her shopping, drove home. But the whole time, a little voice in the back of her mind kept whispering, what if Marco's wrong? What if he comes back? What if this all falls apart? She pushed the voice away, locked it in a box, threw away the key. Because she couldn't live like that anymore. Couldn't spend every day waiting for the other shoe to drop. She had to trust, had to believe, had to have faith that everything would be okay. Even if part of her still didn't. It was a normal Tuesday. Or as normal as Tuesdays got when you were dating a mafia boss. She came home from work, unlocked the door, walked inside, and stopped. The apartment was different. Candles everywhere. Soft music playing. The smell of roses in the air. Marco. He stepped out from the kitchen, wearing a suit. The fancy kind. The kind he only wore for important meetings. What's going on? She asked, setting down her purse. Come here. She walked over slowly, heart pounding. Did something happen? Are you okay? I'm fine. Better than fine. He took her hand, led her to the living room. Sit. She sat on the couch. He sat next to her, took both her hands in his. I need to tell you something, he said. Her stomach dropped. This sounds serious. It is.
But not in a bad way.
I hope. He took a deep breath. A year ago, I was alone. My life was work, business, deals, money, power, all the things that were supposed to matter. But none of it felt like enough. None of it felt like living. Marco. Let me finish. Please. He squeezed her hands gently. And then I met you. This scared, broken girl in a diner who looked like she was carrying the weight of the world on her shoulders. And I wanted to help. That's all. Just help. But somewhere along the way, helping turned into caring. And caring turned into more. Tears started forming in her eyes. You changed everything. Made me want things I never thought I'd want. Made me believe in things I'd stopped believing in a long time ago. Made me want to be better.
Do better.
Be the kind of man who deserves someone like you. You already are that man. I'm trying to be. Every day. For you. He reached into his jacket pocket, pulled out a small box. Which is why I'm asking you this. He opened the box. A ring. Simple. Beautiful.
Perfect.
Will you marry me? The world stopped spinning. She stared at the ring. At him. At the candles. At everything. I know it's fast, he continued quickly. I know we've only been together a year. I know my life is complicated and dangerous, and not what anyone would choose. But I also know that I love you. More than I've ever loved anyone. More than I thought I was capable of loving. And I want to spend the rest of my life proving that to you. Every single day. She couldn't speak. Could barely breathe. You don't have to answer right now, he said softly. Take your time.
Think about it.
I'll wait as long as… Yes.
He stopped. Blinked.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll marry you. The smile that spread across his face was like sunrise.
Bright. Warm.
Impossible to look away from. He slipped the ring onto her finger, pulled her close, kissed her like it was the first time and the last time all at once. And in that moment she knew, beyond any doubt, beyond any fear, this was it. This was home. This was forever. She hadn't seen Marco since that night. He'd texted a few times,
checking in,
making sure she was okay. But he hadn't pushed, hadn't tried to convince her, just gave her space. And she'd used that space to think, really think, about everything, about the girl she used to be.
Scared, broken, trapped.
About the woman she'd become.
Strong,
confident,
free.
About Marco, about what he'd done for her, what he'd given her, what he'd sacrificed. Was he perfect?
No.
Was he dangerous?
Yes.
But was he good to her? Did he treat her with respect and kindness and love?
Yes.
Always yes. And wasn't that what mattered? Not who he was to the rest of the world, but who he was to her. She thought about her ex, about the man who'd hurt her, controlled her, made her feel worthless. Marco had never done that. Not once. Never raised his voice. Never raised his hand. Never made her feel like anything less than everything. So yes, he'd killed people. Yes, he lived a dangerous life. Yes, there were parts of him that existed in shadows she'd never fully understand. But he'd also saved her, protected her, loved her. And maybe that was enough. Maybe it had to be enough. She picked up her phone, dialed his number. He answered on the first ring. Hey. Hey. Her voice was shaky. Can you come over? I'll be there in 10 minutes. He was there in 8. She opened the door. He stood in the hallway, looking tired, worried, like he hadn't slept since she'd asked for space.
Come in, she said.
He walked inside, stood in the middle of the living room, waiting. She closed the door, turned to face him. I've been thinking
about what that woman said,
about who you are, about what you've done. She took a deep breath. And I realized something. You're not perfect. Your life isn't perfect. This relationship isn't perfect. But perfect isn't what I need. Safe is what I need. Loved is what I need. And you give me both of those things. So, what are you saying? I'm saying I want to marry you. Not despite who you are, but because of who you are. All of it. The good.
The bad.
The complicated. She walked over to him, took his hands. I'm saying I choose you. I choose us. I choose this life. As long as you're in it. He pulled her close, buried his face in her hair. You have no idea how scared I was that you'd walk away. I was scared too. But then I realized something. The scariest thing isn't staying with you. It's living without you. He kissed her.
Soft.
Gentle. Full of relief and love and promise. I don't deserve you, he whispered against her lips. Probably not. But you're stuck with me anyway. He laughed. Actually laughed. And it was the best sound she'd ever heard. The wedding was small. Intimate. Just close friends and family. Well, Marco's version of family. Which apparently included several men in expensive suits who looked like they could kill someone with their bare hands. She didn't ask questions. The ceremony was in a garden. Beautiful. Simple. Perfect. She wore a white dress. Nothing fancy. Just something that made her feel pretty. Marco wore a black suit. Same as always. But he looked different today.
Softer.
Happier. More human. When it was time for vows, Marco went first. 1.5 years ago, I met a girl in a diner. She looked scared and alone, and like she was carrying the weight of the world. And I wanted to help. That's all. Just help. But then I got to know her. Got to see who she really was beneath all that fear. And I realized she wasn't broken. She was bent. Bent but not broken. And all she needed was someone to give her the space to straighten back out. He paused. You've made me a better man. Made me want to be a better man. And I promise I'll spend every day of the rest of my life being the man you deserve. Protecting you. Loving you. Standing by you. No matter what comes our way. She was crying by the time he finished. Happy tears. The good kind. Then it was her turn. I don't have fancy words. I'm not good at speeches. But I know this. You saved my life. And I don't just mean for my ex. I mean for myself. From the girl I was becoming. The girl who thought she didn't deserve better. Who thought pain was love and fear was normal. You showed me what real love looks like. What safety feels like. What it means to be chosen. Every single day. Her voice cracked. So, I promise to choose you back. Every day. For the rest of my life. Through the good times and the bad times and the complicated times. Because loving you is the easiest thing I've ever done. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Marco was smiling. That soft, genuine smile he only showed her. The officiant said some words. They exchanged rings. And then, you may kiss the bride. He pulled her close. Kissed her like they were the only two people in the world. And for that moment, they were. Everything was perfect. The food. The music. The dancing. The toasts. She was standing by the dessert table, talking to her friend from work, when Marco pulled her aside. We need to talk, he said quietly. What's wrong? Not here. Come with me. They walked to a quiet corner of the garden. Away from the guests. Away from the party. What's going on? She asked. You're scaring me. I got word about your ex. Her blood went cold. What about him? He's back in the city. Has been for 3 days. And he's been asking questions. About you.
About me.
About where we live. But I thought he left. I thought he was gone.
He was.
Until a few weeks ago. Something changed. Don't know what. But he's back. And he's looking for you. Fear wrapped around her throat like a fist. What do? We handle it. Same as before. But I needed you to know. Needed you to be prepared. Prepared for what? Before he could answer, someone screamed. They both spun around. A man was standing at the entrance to the garden, holding a gun, pointing it at the crowd. Her ex. Where is she? He shouted. Where's my girl? The guests scattered, running, screaming. Chaos everywhere. Marco pulled her behind him, shielded her with his body. Stay behind me. Don't move. Marco. Do what I say. Please. Her ex spotted them, started walking forward. Gun still raised. There you are. My beautiful bride. Oh wait. She's not my bride anymore, is she? She's yours. He laughed.
Wild.
Unhinged. You think you can just take her from me? You think you can just ruin my life and get away with it? You ruined your own life, Marco said calmly. I just gave you a chance to start over. And you wasted it. A chance? You beat me up. Threatened me. Forced me to leave everything behind. That's not a chance. That's a prison sentence. You hurt her. For years. You don't get to play the victim now. She's mine. He raised the gun higher, aimed it directly at Marco. And if I can't have her, neither can you. Everything happened in slow motion. Her ex's finger tightened on the trigger. Marco reached for his own gun because of course he had a gun at his own wedding. Someone else shouted from the side. One of Marco's men. A gunshot rang out. Then another. Then silence. Her ex was on the ground. Blood spreading across his chest. Eyes wide. Gasping for air. Marco was standing over him. Gun in hand. Face cold. Emotionless. You had a choice, Marco said quietly. I gave you a choice. And you chose this. Her ex tried to speak. Couldn't. Just stared up at the sky. And then nothing. He was gone. She couldn't move.
Couldn't breathe.
couldn't process what had just happened. Marco's men appeared from nowhere, surrounded the scene, started cleaning up. Like this was routine. Like this happened every day. Marco turned to her. His face softened immediately. Are you okay? She nodded, even though she wasn't, even though she might never be okay again. I'm sorry, he said, pulling her into his arms. I'm so sorry. I should have seen this coming. Should have protected you better. Should have. You did protect me. You always protect me. He could have shot you.
Could have killed you.
Could have. But he didn't. Because you were there. She pulled back, looked him in the eyes.
You saved me.
Again. For the last time. He kissed her forehead, held her close. It's over now. Really over. He can't hurt you anymore. No one can. The police showed up 20 minutes later.
Marco talked to them. His lawyer talked to them.
Self-defense, they said. Protecting his wife. Witnesses everywhere. The police left. The crime scene was cleared. The wedding was officially over. But somehow, despite everything, she felt relieved. Like a weight she'd been carrying for years had finally been lifted. Her ex was gone. Really gone. Not just physically, but in every way that mattered. She was free. They postponed the honeymoon. Pushed it back a week. Let the dust settle. Let her process everything. But when they finally left, it was perfect.
A beach.
Somewhere tropical. Somewhere warm and safe and far away from everything. They spent the first day just lying on the sand. Not talking. Not planning. Just being. Can I ask you something? She said finally. Always. Do you regret it? Killing him? Marco was quiet for a long time. Then, no. I regret that it had to happen at our wedding. I regret that you had to see it. But I don't regret protecting you. I'll never regret that. What if the police had arrested you? What if you'd gone to jail? My lawyers are good. Very good. It would have been fine. But what if it wasn't? He turned to look at her. Then it wasn't. Some things are worth the risk. You're worth the risk. She rested her head on his chest. Listened to his heartbeat. Steady.
Strong. Certain.
I love you, she said quietly. I love you too. They stayed like that for hours. Watching the waves. Watching the sunset. Watching the world go by. And for the first time in her entire life, she felt completely, totally, impossibly safe. Life became normal. As normal as life could be when you were married to someone like Marco. They moved into a house. A real house. With a yard and a garden and neighbors who didn't ask too many questions. She graduated from college. Got a promotion at work. Started volunteering at a women's shelter. Helping other women who were in the same situation she'd been in. Marco scaled back his business. Not much, but enough. Spent more time at home. More time with her. More time being a husband instead of a boss. They talked about having kids someday. Not yet, but someday. When things were calmer. When life was more settled. One night, they were sitting on the porch. Watching the stars. Drinking wine. Do you ever think about that night? She asked. The first night. At the diner. All the time. What do you think about? About how different you looked. How scared you were. How small you made yourself. He took her hand. And about how I almost didn't give you my card. Almost walked away. Almost let you handle it on your own. But you didn't.
No.
I didn't. Because something in my gut told me you needed help. And I couldn't walk away from that. Couldn't walk away from you. Best decision you ever made? Best decision I ever made. She smiled. Leaned against his shoulder. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if you hadn't been there that night? If you hadn't given me your card? Every day. And every day I'm grateful I was. That I did. That I got this.
Got you.
Me too. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Just existing.
Just being.
Just loving each other. Can I tell you something? She said finally. Anything. I used to think love was supposed to hurt. That if it didn't hurt, it wasn't real. That pain was proof someone cared. She turned to look at him. But you taught me different. You taught me that real love is safe. That real love is kind. That real love doesn't leave bruises. His eyes were shining in the starlight. You taught me something too. What? That I'm capable of being more than what I was.
More than what I thought I could be.
That I don't have to be the bad guy all the time. That I can be someone's hero. Your hero. You were always a hero. You just needed someone to see it. He kissed her.
Soft. Sweet.
Full of everything words couldn't say. And, in that moment, she knew. Beyond any doubt. Beyond any fear. Beyond any lingering shadow of her past. She was exactly where she was supposed to be. With exactly who she was supposed to be with. Forever, she was in the kitchen. Making dinner. Humming to herself. A little girl, 3 years old, with dark curls and her father's eyes, was sitting at the table. Coloring. Making a mess. Being perfect. Mama, look. I drawed a butterfly. She walked over. Looked at the picture. It was mostly scribbles. But there was definitely butterfly intent there. It's beautiful, baby. Can we show Daddy? When he gets home. He'll love it. The front door opened.
Closed.
Footsteps in the hallway. Daddy. The little girl jumped off her chair. Ran toward the door. Marco appeared. Still in his suit. Still looking dangerous. But the second he saw his daughter, his whole face transformed. There's my girl. He scooped her up. Spun her around. Did you have a good day? Uh-huh. I made you a picture. You did? Let me see. They walked to the table together. He examined the drawing like it was a masterpiece. This is amazing. Best butterfly I've ever seen. Should we put it on the fridge? Yes. He stuck the drawing on the fridge with a magnet, then walked over to his wife. Kissed her hello. How was your day? She asked.
Long.
But better now. Dinner's almost ready. Smells good. The little girl tugged on his pant leg. Daddy, can we have ice cream after dinner? Maybe. If you eat all your vegetables. Okay. She ran off to play, leaving them alone in the kitchen. He wrapped his arms around his wife from behind, rested his chin on her shoulder. I love this, he said quietly. Love what?
This. Us.
This life. Everything we built. She turned in his arms, looked up at him. Me too. Even with all the chaos. Even with all your work stuff. Especially with all that. Especially with all that. Because it made us who we are. He kissed her forehead. The dangerous mafia boss and the helpless waitress. She laughed. I was never helpless. Just temporarily overwhelmed. Fair point. My mistake. Their daughter called from the other room. Mama. Daddy. Come play with me. They looked at each other. Smiled. Coming, sweetheart, she called back. They walked together into the living room. Sat on the floor with their daughter. Played with blocks and dolls and toy cars. And as she watched Marco pretend to be a monster while their daughter giggled and ran away, she thought about that scared girl in the diner all those years ago. The girl who thought she'd never escape. Never be happy. Never be free. The girl who thought love meant pain and safety was just a dream. That girl was gone now. Replaced by a woman who knew her worth. Who knew what real love looked like. Who knew that sometimes the most dangerous men can have the kindest hearts. Marco caught her eye across the room. Smiled that smile. The one that was only for her. And she smiled back. Because this, right here, right now, this messy, chaotic, beautiful life, this was everything she'd ever wanted. Everything she'd ever needed. Everything she'd ever deserved. And she'd fight to protect it. Just like he'd fought to protect her. Forever. If you're in a situation like she was, scared, trapped, hurting, please know this. You deserve better. You deserve safety. You deserve love that doesn't leave bruises. There are people who can help. Hotlines you can call. Shelters you can go to. Resources available. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not helpless. You are strong. You are worthy. You are enough. And somewhere out there, your better life is waiting. All you have to do is take the first step. National Domestic Violence Hotline. 1-800-799-6999. 7233. You matter. Your life matters. Your safety matters. Please reach out. Please get help.
Please choose you.
Because everyone deserves their happy ending.
Even you.
Especially you.